Hello everyone, welcome to the second part of the Fluff tutorial where we will learn how to initialize and draw font paths in p5js. First, we will focus on drawing the path at the right position. To do this, we call path.draw with the context inside our previously created if conditional and pass the drawing context of the canvas. We can obtain that using the drawing context property from the sketch reference. We then get the path from the font by specifying the text X and Y position and font size. We can use the getAdvancedWidth function to get the text width from the font so we can center it. Now to get the text in the center, we will essentially use width divided by 2 and height divided by 2, which are constant values from the p5js sketch, so we're going to have to use the S for the sketch reference as well, which is something that we're going to repeat over and over again because we're using p5js in instance mode. And then remove half of the text width as the text block is drawing from the left side. Now that we're sure of our text position, we will move to the next step, separating each letter's path. Currently, the paths for the whole text are in one array. So there's no sure way of knowing where one letter starts or ends unless you're set on one word forever to not change. That's mainly because letters have contours, like the letter A, for instance. It has two closed paths. Even if you check the point state, you wouldn't know whether that's the closing point for the outer path or the inner path. Some letters, like B, are even more complex because they have two contours. Using the getPath method from OpenType.js should return an array of separate letter paths. Now this is the point where we need another library called G, which is primarily used to manipulate SVGs. It has some great methods that can help us out here, like resampling the path. I'm trying to mimic the geometric library in processing, but we're going to have to call multiple libraries in order to do that in p5js. We now loop through the path group to create aglibrary path, using the commands property on the path from OpenType.js as an argument. And after, we can resample the path by length between points, where the smaller the number, the more points, and vice versa. Next, we have to deal with the letter contours. We will separate them using these steps. 1. We create a 2D points array to store as many paths for each letter. Take the letter A as an example. The first array will contain the points for the outer path, and the second array will contain the contour points. And this array will occupy a position in the 2D array, essentially an array of arrays based on the letter. For instance, for a letter like C, we're only going to have one element in the inner array of this array of arrays. 2. Create a temporary points array to store the separate letter paths. For the letter A, the temporary array will be used twice, for B 3 times, and for C once, and so on. 3. We loop until a condition stating the letter paths are closed is met. That conditional checks if the command type is C, which in SVG means a closed path. Following our example with the letter A, this will look through the letter's points and check if it's the closing point. If so, push the temp points to the points array and empty it for the next set of temporary points. And if not, add this point to the temp points array as an object of X and Y positions. For A, it'll find one closing point for the outer path and another for the inner path. Finally, we will draw paths with begin shape, end shape, begin contour, and end contour. We will loop through the 2D points array's first level and call begin shape before and end shape after with the close string as an argument. Begin contour and end contour will go inside the loop only if a condition is met. That condition will ask whether the set of points we are iterating over are not the first set, aka not the outer path. Then we will begin the contour. Usually, if not always, in letters, the outer path is drawn first and the contours next, which is why we can be certain that the first set of points is not a contour, and hence this conditional statement. Inside the loop between the begin contour and end contour methods, we draw the vertex at the points X and Y position, and refresh the page. That's it for part 2 of this tutorial. In the next part, we're going to add interactivity to an SVG path, so be sure to subscribe to get notified when that is uploaded. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye!